Energy? Alright. So I'm just going to tell you about my background. So my name is Charles Liban. I'm the father of those two little cute boys there, Charlie and Angelo. And I've been doing photography for almost 13 years. So just like you, when I was starting photography, I first, of course, you need to study about the basic. The basic you need to master it, alright? So once you master the basic, ISO, aperture, and shutter priority, you're like 50% okay when it comes to photography, and then later on, you need to build your creativity. Alright, so I started photography as a hobbyist back then in the Philippines. When I was starting, I was shooting everything I see, bottle of water, droplets from, when after the rain, there's droplets on the leaf, I'll take picture of them, insects, everything that I see, and everything, even though it doesn't look good, I still take a picture and try to make it look good. That's the essence of photography, alright? When you take a picture, you need to think about how can I make this simple thing looks good. For example, bottle of water, right? So you're not gonna put the bottle of water and just take picture of it. You need to put some props like what you have done a while ago. Right? Isn't it? Okay, so after I was a hobbyist for like 2 to 3 years, and then from there I started to become a professional photographer. And this is what I really like with Nikon, because they are really into building the skills of photographers. Like what is happening right now. They have given you the chance to study photography, and not a lot of companies are doing that, only Nikon. They are very, very dedicated in crafting your skills, alright? And so I encourage you that hopefully this will not be your last workshop. I encourage you to learn more. You can even go to YouTube, check other photographers or Instagram, and then you can look for someone that you can benchmark. You know what benchmark is? Like, look for someone that you want to become like while you're growing your skills in photography. So that's what I do. So first, I look for photographers that I want the style to be my style. And then after that, when I learned their style, I started to develop my own creativity, my own style. Because if you copy, it's not bad to copy someone's work, especially when you are beginning. But once you already know how to take those kind of shots, you need to create your own creativity, your own style. And also, because there are a lot of fields in photography. There is macro, there is portrait, there is landscape, there's travel, there's cityscape, a lot. So I encourage you guys to discover, like try everything, try portrait, try landscape, and then this is the only way you can see where you want, like what kind of photography do you want to do. Because sometimes a lot of people, they go straight to fashion, but they will realize, oh, I don't like fashion. So they have wasted a lot of time, they have wasted a lot of money to buy equipment on something that they don't really want. So as a beginner, I encourage you guys to just go out, take your camera, especially if you're going to the park, going out with your family, even in the restaurant, take pictures of the food. Maybe that's your life. So this is how you will discover your skills, alright, and your interest in photography. So yeah, so now it's been 13 years. I have traveled a lot. I've seen a lot of places, and like what I have told you before, I started with macro. I started with taking just anything, and now I have found out that my real skill in photography, no, not my real skill. My love in photography is with travel and adventure. But as a professional, I do work as a fashion and product photographer. So I do product photographer and fashion as a professional photographer, but during my pastime, like when I'm not in the studio, I go travel, take pictures of landscape, of people, whenever I visit country. So yeah. So if you have any question, by the way, I'm using the 850 as a camera for my product, and for videos and travels, I use the Z6, Nikon Z6. So if you have any question, throw it out. Alright.
Who is your favorite photographer?
My favorite photographer, it's kinda hard. But you know, I know a local guy. He's a really good photographer. His name is Subhasheti. I think he's one of my favorite photographer. Yeah. Yes.
What's your favorite country to visit? To take pictures of?
My favorite country to take pictures of, Georgia. Georgia is a beautiful place, and it's near in Dubai, and it's like 3 hours away from Dubai, and like the landscape is really amazing. Plus, it's not so expensive to travel in Georgia. Yeah.
What made you like an interest in photography?
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
What made
So,
you to come to?
Yeah, I think when I was a kid, I already know that I'm interested in photography. During those days, still film, and I have point and shoot. So, like I'm always fascinated with, because I always watch Discovery channels when I was a kid. So whenever I have the chance, I'll get the point and shoot with 12 shots of film, and I take picture of ants as much as closer as possible as I can. And I think that's, while watching Discovery channels, that what makes me interested into photography. And then after graduation, I just pursue my dream as a photographer. Yes.
Did anyone teach you photograph?
Yeah. You cannot learn by yourself, alright? So definitely someone who's gonna teach you. It's either YouTube, but in my case, YouTube was not there yet. I'm not that old, but I'm just saying that YouTube was not there yet. So it's my uncle. So he taught me about the basics, and then after that, I did it myself. Yeah. Yes.
What was your first camera?
My first camera was Nikon D40. So that was like 12 years ago.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's
It's
almost
a film
like that
camera.
one.
It's a film camera.
No, it's not. It's the first digital camera of Nikon. Yeah. Yes.
Do you photograph the highlights of your trip?
Highlights of my trip. Whenever I take pictures, that's the highlights of my trip. So, like for example, like recently we went to Georgia with my friend Nikon, and we were trekking. And we were taking pictures already like 3 hours. And then he asked me, how many pictures do you think you can use? Okay, I snapped like 200, but in my mind, I know that there are only like 3 shots that I can certainly use. So that's how photography works, Take as much as photograph as you can, and then when you come home, check your shots, because not everything will be sharp. Not everything will be in the right exposure. So, like whenever you take pictures, don't be discouraged. Like I told you, I have shot maybe 200, 300, but I only have three usable images in my mind. Alright? Okay.
Did you always want to become a professional photographer?
Not really. At first, I told you it's just a hobby, and then that's where my passion in photography started. So then I got the chance to work with a studio in the Philippines, and then I noticed that I can take good pictures. So then that's how I developed it. Yes, young lady.
Which is your favorite picture?
My favorite picture?
Where was it taken?
Oh, it was taken here in Dubai. It's one of the most iconic shots that I have made. It was posted in like My Dubai, Passion Passport, and it was a shot of an astronaut, and it's actually my friend Nicolo who is on the astronaut suit. So the idea is like we want it to look like Mars, so we went to Albuquerque and take the shot there. Yeah.
Why don't you want to ask?
Sorry, the guy from the last room, the blue one.
Before you knew that you had a passion for photography, or you were really good at photography, what did you want to become before that?
You know, that's. I was an IT student. Okay, I'm a computer science graduate, but I have never practiced it. So when I was a kid, you know, I have a lot of like I have a lot of things to become. Like I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a soldier. So yeah, it's kind of I really don't know. Anyone? Yes. Yeah.
What's your favorite thing to take a photo of?
Like I told you, travel and adventure. Yeah, but sometimes I also want to take macro photography because that's very, like for example, when you take a picture of an insect, you don't really see the details in your bare eyes. So if you look closer, it's a different world. You, like for example, if you take a picture of a fly, you'll see they have a lot of eyes. So macro photography is really nice.
Do you think joining Nikon has changed your life?
Definitely. You know, this is what I really appreciate with Nikon. They don't just sell you a camera. Okay, they don't just, you know, get this camera and then they don't want to see you anymore. With Nikon, they will sell you a camera and they will teach you how to use the camera. Right? Like what you are doing right now. Inspiration? I have, like, there are Filipino artists back then, like for example, Manny Librodo is really well-known photographer based in Malaysia. He's a Filipino, but he's in Malaysia. He takes group portraits. And Park Cruz is also a Nikon ambassador in the Philippines. So those guys, I started with them. And during those days, there's no Instagram or there's no Facebook. I think it's Multiply and Friendster at that time. And that's where we communicate with each other. That's how we show our shots. And those two guys really inspires me. Yeah.
At what age did you start photography?
I think I was 21 years old. Yeah, so it's good for you guys that you have started early, so you can develop more of your skills. Yes, sir.
Which is your favorite lens?
My favorite lens when it comes to travel photography, if I can only bring one lens, it's 24-70 f2.8, and for portrait it will be 70 to 200. Yes, sir. Yeah, you.
Yeah. Did you try Nikon in the Philippines or UAE?
When I was in the Philippines, I'm not really into this kind of community. It's only here in Dubai. But I will tell you the truth. It's better to be in community because this is how you will connect with people and they will inspire you. They can, like if you have groups of friends who are photographers, they can tell you about your shot, what's wrong with your shot, what's good with your shot. So I encourage you guys to connect with other photographers.
Charles, I have a question. Now,
Yeah.
what do you think about this picture?
That's really nice.
It's really nice. Do you know who shot it? Angelo. It's by his son.
Wow.
Are you proud?
I am very proud.
And this is manual mode, by the way.
Wow. Amazing.
Oh, both of your sons are like they're talented.
Because they have a good teacher.
No, it's in their blood, it's in their genes.
Yes, madam.
Describe photography in one sentence.
Wow. Love. Love. I think when you do photography, you need to put love on it because it will show. If you don't If you don't what you are doing, if you don't love what you are doing, then it will show. Your shots will be not good. All right.
How much years it took to learn everything in camera?
Sorry, come again.
How many years it took you to kind of learn everything in the camera?
To be honest, I'm still learning. Okay, every time I touch my camera, I'm learning. Because sometimes maybe I have learned this before, but I have forgotten because I have not used it for a very long time. So, like, if you ask me if I'm expert in the camera, not really. So, yeah, every time that you use your camera, you're gonna learn something. Alright, so don't put your camera in the cabinet and think that I already know everything. Alright, yes.
What do you want to show with your photographs?
Sorry.
What do you want to show to your, with your photographs to the world?
Okay, so like for example, for my travel photography, I want to show people how it feels like to be on that situation. Like for example, we're hiking. I always put a human element on my shots. So you know, you can, when people look at my shots, they will feel what I have felt when I was there in that moment. Anyone else? All right.
Right now, Nikon has set a standard for photography. Do you think that can be improved? Maybe in the near future, maybe some big revolution?
Yeah, for sure. The Nikon Z6 is a new camera. It's a mirrorless. It has a new mount, and that will gonna be an open door for lots of development. It's just a start. And for sure, like technology, it always evolves, right? So for sure, in the next future, in the next years, we'll see more and more like amazing features on the cameras.
And that's what Nikon has been doing. It's been 100 years. I think more than 100 years we've been developing Nikon lenses. So that's what we do. That's our forte. We don't make anything else. It's all cameras and lenses. And with the Z mount, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
I hope you agree with that.
Yeah.
Yeah, a game changer.
And if you guys don't know, NASA, you know NASA,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
You know what camera they use to take those beautiful pictures of the universe, of planet Earth, Nikon. So they have like, I don't know, maybe like
There are
200
50
plus.
D5s. There are 15 Nikon D5s.
Yeah.
They want these three.
Alright. Yeah. Yes.
You were talking about benchmarks. Who was your benchmark during the
My benchmark for I have a lot actually, but there is an Instagrammer. His name is Carl Snake. So that is one of my benchmarks. Yeah. All right. Anyone else? That's it. Thank you guys.
Thank you, Charles.
Thank you for having me. So
Thank
if
you
you want
for
to
having me.
see my Instagram, just Charles Liban, LIBANJR @gmail.com. No, JR, that's it.
I'll post it in the
Okay.
in this.
Alright. Thank you guys.
Thank you, everybody. Can you clap for Charles? Thank you, Charles.
Thank you, Chitra.
So now we're gonna start with Angelo. Okay, Angelo, come here. Come here.
Oh,
Come here. No, are you shy? Do not be a shy photographer. Come, walk up. Come here. Come, Angelo, first.
what did I
Nice. So which one is your favorite channel? You like
the
this?
Jeep. The Jeep. The Jeep.
Girl?
Not the Jeep I like.
Which one?
The Jeep.
It's a nice candid moment. You press it. Do it slowly.
That's what I did.
That's a nice picture.
That's really good. I love it. No, he's over.
Nice, very good. This is your macro shots. Macro close-up shots, good.